Hey there, YouTubes. Got a new video for you about false tones today. In case you didn't know what those were, false tones are basically just false tones that your trombone happens to have waiting inside for you to discover. And there's a bunch of complicated acoustic reasons behind that. But basically means you can bend your first partial, like the low B flat, down by a major third to gain a bunch of notes that you wouldn't have already. So this is a Con 6H, 500 bore, small horn, no F attachment, and the bottom note on the first partial should be an E natural, and then the next note after that would be a pedal B flat, and you've got this huge tritone gap where there's no notes. Well, you can ameliorate that, and you'll have more notes. I'll show you here in first position. Instead of B flat, you can play a G flat. As you can see, you can bend that down really easily. Just think bending down. If you've ever bent pitches before on any other instrument, maybe even trombone, without using the slide, on that first partial, you can go down a major third, and it kind of sits there, and it's like a real note. And so, I don't know, it's really handy. I'll show you, there's 4 notes now that you can play that you couldn't play before, E flat through C natural. And you can hear mine don't sound that great. But with a lot of practice, those become real notes, and you can fill in that low register until B natural, and you don't have a low B natural, but that's okay. You don't need it. And yeah, those are really handy if you want to fill in the low register without having an F attachment all the time, and you don't need them to sound absolutely audition perfect all the time. Those are a good way to fill in your low register. So if you want to practice these, you need to know how, right? So there's a couple ways I do to this, and I don't really practice these this often, but I'll go through a couple ways I do it. So first way is just start in first position and gliss down by major third, then gliss back up, go to second position, gliss down by major third, go back up. Sounds like this. Yeah, those are kind of hard, actually, keeping the low note in tune. Actually, articulating on the low notes is the hardest thing. Glissing down is really easy, but just coming out with like a low C in 7th position is the difficult part. And I guess I'll go over that. But another way to do this is to actually just start like on the B flat, gliss down to the G flat, still in first position, and then just do Remington, the major third down. And you can hear that's actually really difficult to sound good on all those and not get a quavery tone or anything like that. It takes a lot of practice and a lot of doing just what I did. And of course, the last part is just articulating them. I'm not going to do it because I'm going to sound really bad. But basically, you just want to practice playing the notes out of thin air. Like, here, I'll give you one example on an E flat. You can hear my pitch is all over the place because I can articulate anywhere from E flat all the way up to G, and I'll get a note. So you really have to know, you have to be able to hear it and be able to articulate it right off the bat. Alright, so some of you guys probably have F attachments on your horns. And, with your F attachment, you can play all the way down to low C and 7th, and you don't need to use false tones. And, that's fine. But, if you want to have like a good low C or a low B natural, then you have to like pull your F attachment out, and then you can't play F in first position, and all your other notes are in weird places. So I have there's a way to solve that, and I'm gonna play it on my bass, which is kind of cheating, but I don't want to get my big tenor out because I just cleaned the slide. I'll give you an example, just using one valve today. So you have those fake positions, right? So you have the low C all the way out in 7th. Well, 7th is also the F attachment plus second position, and 8th position is basically just F attachment plus third position, or almost 4th. So that gives you like a really solid low C and a really solid low B that you can use on an F attachment tenor. I'll give you an example, and I can give you the real note with 2 valves on a bass, just so you can compare them. There's a low C in second position with F valve, and it sounds, on this bass, it sounds pretty good, and on tenors it actually sounds better because the smaller bore will actually focus the sound on false tones. And here I'll give you a B natural. That almost sounds like a real note. That feels really good. And I'll give you a comparison between using 2 valves to play the note, which you can't do with the tenor, and the false tone to see which one sounds better. Those last 2 were both false tones. Last position with no valve, and second position with the valve. And you can see they sound not as good, but really similar to the playing through the real horn. And you can do the same thing with B natural. Giving you a real B natural, well, okay, not a real one, but a good B natural in the same position as E flat. So the same thing, just glissing down or you don't have to gliss down, but just a major third lower than the actual position. And this is a kind of a boon for bass trombonists because there's the infamous Bartok gliss from B natural to F that has to be played on F contra because there's no way to do that on a bass trombone. But you can. Probably doesn't sound as good as like playing that on an F contra or like a B flat contra, but in a pinch, it's better than having one of those compensating trombones from Fine that has like an F attachment that comes in as you play. So I hope that helps you with what are they called? False tones. There we go. I hope that helps you with false tones and your low register. Good luck.